Hello ladies and gentlemen, Devin from DCON here, and this is the S10 Plus from Samsung. So before I jump into the review, I just want to give a big shout out and thank you to my sister Mackenzie. She's the one who purchased this phone, and before she even used it or laid her hands on it, she let me have it for about a week so I could kind of give my thoughts on it. And this review could not and would not be possible without her kindness and generosity. So thank you so much, Mackenzie. I love you. You're amazing. Thank you. Alrighty, let's jump into the review. Overall, the S10 Plus feels very premium while retaining a thin profile and a light weight. We have Gorilla Glass on the rear, and this particular model is a prism white, which appears white off angle and more of a bluish green when light reflects off it. The screen is a 6.4-inch AMOLED display with a resolution of 3040 by 1440, which gives us around 522 pixels per inch. This OLED display is absolutely stunning. It's very bright, colors appear very accurate, and overall it's just utterly gorgeous. This is definitely one of the, if not the best displays you can get on any smartphone right now. And in the pursuit for a full edge-to-edge screen, we still have the front-facing camera issue. Samsung's solution to this was to create a porthole for their dual camera system, and when watching videos, it's generally cropped by default to avoid the porthole, but if you try and expand the video to full screen, then the porthole begins to get in your way, and it actually cuts out part of the video. In general use, the porthole is always present, but Samsung did something very clever here. They actually aligned the porthole with that top notification area, so even though it's always there, it's never actually in your way. The only downside of this is it actually shrinks your usable area from around 6.4 inches to around 6 inches. The S10 Plus comes with dual speakers in stereo configuration, and they reach a maximum of around 85 decibels. There's also a fingerprint sensor under the screen, and for the most part it works great. Setup is extremely easy, and it actually even works if water is present. I actually wonder if the sensor would still work if you got your phone extremely grimy and dirty and if there's just dirt all over it. Actually, you know what? I'll be right back. Okay. I didn't have any dirt, but I got the next best thing. Actually, you know what? I got the best thing. I got coffee grounds, so let's just kind of throw some on here. Alrighty, let's see if this will work. Yeah, kind of as expected. The coffee grounds are sticking to my thumb, which is kind of altering my fingerprint, and of course it's not working. So unless you're some crazy hardcore barista, just make sure you don't have any kind of coffee ground or dirt covering the sensor because it's not going to work. So yeah. Another sign-in option on the S10 Plus is face detection. And unlike Apple, Samsung actually lets you bypass the lock screen if you want to and jump right into the action. And this is my preferred way of signing in, as overall it's stupidly fast and it's one of the quickest I've seen to date. Alright, let's transition to the front-facing cameras. Samsung is using a dual camera system here, as one camera is a 10 megapixel selfie camera and the second one is an 8 megapixel RGB depth camera. These two cameras not only produce some of the best selfies I've ever seen, they're also excellent when capturing video. Now, the second camera does a really nice job at adding a bit more color and details to the overall image, and it just allows to create a bit more extra depth and allows the overall video just look more natural than your average one camera system. And stabilization also looks very, very nice, and your subject in the foreground tends to be in focus regardless of what you're doing. I mean, I could go over here and just kind of spin around for a second and it would keep me in focus. I mean, I could do this all day long and all night long. So the front-facing camera looks pretty good overall. There's obviously going to be some inherent noise introduced due to the lower light levels, but overall I think it looks pretty good. Colors still appear fairly accurate. You can see the red on my shirt and the red on my nose. It's kind of cold out here right now if you can't tell by the snow. Stabilization is still the same. It's nice and smooth. And also, I think this is a first for front-facing cameras. This is a full 4K resolution shooting camera, and it looks pretty nice overall, I think. What do you think? Not too bad, right? I gotta get out of here. I'm freezing. Bye. Alright, now that we looked at the screen, let's rip it away and take a look at the internals. As you can see, a good portion of the internal space is taken up by the battery, and it's a 4100 mAh battery. And just off to the left is our Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 processor, which is an 8-core ARM processor. Also included in this unit is 8GB of RAM and 128GB solid-state storage. In terms of processing power, single-core and multi-core performance are both excellent, as we see a 25% increase in performance compared to last generation. During general use, the Snapdragon 855 processor allows you to go through your daily workflow with ease, and is just very fast and responsive overall. That combined with 8GB of RAM allows for a very fluid experience, even if you have multiple applications open at once. Adreno 640 graphics is built in, and this combined with the gorgeous Quad HD display allows for an excellent gaming experience. Whether it's something as simple as Super Mario Run or a more complex game such as PUBG, the Snapdragon 855 never faltered once. And with game controls being along the left and right edges of the screen, the taller screen of the S10 Plus actually comes to your advantage here, as it allows for larger viewing space while gaming. Looking at the side of the S10 Plus, we can see that the camera hump is essentially non-existent despite having a complex camera system. Samsung is utilizing 3 cameras here, including a 12 megapixel telephoto camera, a 12 megapixel wide-angle camera, and a 16 megapixel ultra-wide camera. And the overall image quality is outstanding. Samsung has always been known for having great cameras on their Galaxy phones, and this one's no different. The amount of detail these cameras pick up is insanely good, and color accuracy is spot on as well. Even macro shots look great too. The ultra-wide camera does an amazing job at capturing landscape shots, as it provides 123 degrees field of view. And when comparing this to shots taken on the wide-angle or telephoto camera, you begin to see how beneficial the ultra-wide camera truly is. Nighttime shots are good as well, and the dual aperture lens on the wide-angle camera is especially good, as it provides the best looking shots at night and is what I recommend using for nighttime photography. There's also a unique feature called live focus, and this is where the camera software allows you to put focus on the subject in the foreground, while allowing you to manipulate the look and feel of the background in 4 different ways. The first is by blurring the background completely. Secondly, you can add a spin bokeh effect, or you can add a zoom bokeh effect. And lastly, and my personal favorite, is color point. This is essentially where the entire background goes black and white, while your subject in the foreground is the only one remaining in color. While live focus is more geared toward the front-facing camera, it also works with the rear camera as well, and it even works on objects too. The rear camera is also capable of shooting 4K video, and while image stabilization for me was a bit on the shaky side, the overall image quality was excellent, and colors appeared accurate as well. Along with slow motion, super slow motion is also included, as it shoots up to a staggering 960 frames per second. Just beneath the rear camera, Samsung has a built-in wireless charger. Samsung calls this their power share feature, and I tested this feature with my LG V30, and after an hour and a half it charged from 0% all the way to 50%, while the S10 Plus drained from 100% all the way down to 29%. And when the S10 Plus drops below 30%, it actually goes into pure survival mode and deactivates the feature completely. I honestly don't understand the point of this feature other than Samsung flexing its muscles because it can. I would never recommend anyone to use this feature, as the cost of battery life for your S10 Plus is not worth the battery gain for the other device. In terms of battery life for the S10 Plus, it's excellent. I was able to get around 27 hours between charges, and this equated to around 18 hours of actual screen on time. And this is with the screen resolution set at 1080p and at full brightness under heavy usage. Recharge time via wired connection is excellent, as you can go 0 to 80% in just about an hour, and total recharge time was 1 hour and 43 minutes. And wireless charging via Fast Charge 2.0 took about twice as long to go from 0 to 80, and total recharge time was around 2.5 hours. Overall, the S10 Plus from Samsung is one of the most impressive phones in recent memory for me. It's best in class in every single way, from the premium build to the gorgeous screen to the ridiculously fast processor. Both the front-facing and rear-shooting cameras are top performers, and it has amazing battery life as well. I think come 9 months from now, we're going to be looking back at this phone as the best of 2019, and it's not even going to be close. Well, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please send me your likes. If you enjoy my content, send me your subs. And as always, thank you for stopping by. I'll see you next time.